speaker is a huge advocate for nonprofits and human rights on Long Island. Please join me in welcoming a big round of applause for Dr. Jeff Reynolds here. Association.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So it was 10:43 a.m. on Friday, April 1st, 2022. Driving down the Northern State Parkway to a dental appointment, things you do on Fridays. My phone lights up with a notification, and as I get to the light, corner of Route 110 in Melville, I jump into the NYU Langone Health Portal, scroll through pages of medical jargon that I don't understand very well until I get to the punchline. Clinically significant prostate cancer likely. What? I sat at the light staring at my phone, cars beeping behind me, looking for some sign that this was a mistake, that it was a bad April Fool's joke, that things weren't as bad as they seemed. My cancer journey didn't start that day, to be fair. It started during a routine physical and a slightly elevated PSA test. Initially, I wasn't that worried. I had no symptoms. I was in the best shape of my life, having just completed Ironman Florida, which is a grueling race consisting of a 2.4-mile swim, open water, a 112-mile bike ride, and then a 26.2-mile marathon. Don't judge me, Rebecca. Despite my fitness, the confirmatory test came back, indeed, I had cancer. I was lucky enough to get treatment that summer, spent a few months recovering, and went on to race the New York City Marathon that November. You could clap. Yes, thank you. Thank you. One of you. I certainly didn't break any records. I lost a toenail and maybe cheated a little bit of blood, but I did it and I was back. 9 months later, I received becoming an evangelist for routine screenings and early detection, go for my regularly scheduled colonoscopy, and out of nowhere, no symptoms, feeling great, I get diagnosed with stage 3B colorectal cancer. 2 cancers in 2 years, and this one worse than the first. Talk about things not going your way. 27 rounds of radiation later and 6 months worth of chemo, I heard the carefully crafted words that every cancer warrior longs to hear. No evidence of disease. My tumor was gone. Thank you. Now, survivors know, and there's some of you in the room, survivors know that cancer, even when it's successfully treated, leaves behind plenty of evidence. You've got the lingering side effects of treatment. You've got the scanxiety that runs alongside every regularly scheduled MRI and CAT scan and blood test. And then you've got the kick in the butt, the rude awakening that everything, and I mean everything, can change at a moment's notice. But cancer leaves some good things behind too. It taught me humility and patience and gratitude and faith. And one of the things I came to understand is that life sets you up for challenges you never know are coming. I didn't know that the grit, determination, and focus I developed while I was doing those early morning and late night intense swims, bike rides, and runs were setting me up to succeed in a race I never signed up for. I didn't know that every step along the way would prepare me for what would come next. Here's my first lesson for you today. When things don't go your way, keep going. When I threw up at mile 20 of a marathon, we do this, Rebecca, I brushed my face off and I kept going. When I puked in my car on the way to work at FCA, I kept going and I showed up. I did that also when I tucked the tubes from my chemo pump into my suit jacket pocket before I gave a speech. I kept showing up because I had to. There wasn't a choice and all of that. When times get tough, keep on going and continue to move forward. One of the things that struck me in all of this is that I had always been the helper. Spent 35 years in the not-for-profit world assisting other folks. I walked through folks during their deepest and darkest times. I walked beside women who are victims of domestic violence. I walked behind people with HIV and AIDS. I walked alongside people with addiction and people suffering mental health crisis. I was the guy that people called at 2 a.m. when their marriage imploded, when their teenager overdoses, when they needed help. And suddenly my world was turned upside down. I was no longer the helper. I was the one looking for help. I was the guy frantically looking at my blood test results and Googling every term, searching the face of my oncologist to see if he was telling me the truth. I had to open up and allow my team, my tribe, my family to accept me, support me, and if necessary, carry me across the finish line. I'm not talking about that finish line. I'm completing treatment. I needed to open up and accept that. And sometimes when we're in an unwinnable situation, you have to step back and embrace your vulnerability. You have to let people in. You experience connections you never dreamed possible, and you experience miracles. There comes a point where you can't do it on your own. Sometimes when things don't go your way, it's because your way isn't exactly the right way. Let others help bring you to the destination that you're supposed to be, even if it's not readily evident at the outset. Trust that you're going to land in the right place. You heard from Rebecca this morning, and you'll hear from Carol a little bit later, that sometimes pain becomes purpose, that sometimes suffering and struggle becomes strength, and sometimes setbacks become incredibly amazing comebacks. Those phrases sound great in talks like this and in self-help books. They're much easier to embrace in the bright light of day than when you're going through those really, really dark and desperate times. But they're absolutely critical. We all pushed on, and we all realized that we can't do it alone. I'm grateful to be a 2-time cancer survivor, and I'll never, ever thank you. I will never, ever, ever take that for granted, but survival's the minimal thing we can do. I want more than that for me. I want more than that for the 35,000 families a year we serve at FCA. I want more than that for you. I want us all to thrive. The only difference between surviving and thriving when things don't go your way is deciding that you're gonna find another way. It's right here, I promise you. Thank you.